Well, Jim, another topic that a lot of listeners have been sending in questions and audio about is Jay Slingblade White winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship recently.
He did?
He did.
Good for him.
And he cut a promo, and a lot of people have wanted to hear what you think of this promo, because we haven't really heard him talk too much, and we have heard people rave about his promos. So I have a clip here of him post-match, backstage. Sadly, it's the Bullet Club behind him, so it makes it a little lamer than it would be otherwise.
Well, but I can't see that, so I won't hold that against him.
Well, let's play a little bit of this audio, give you a sample of Jay White on the mic, and hear what you think.
You know what, that message, that goes to you as well, Hangman. You think you're the shit now because you had to run off, have your friends create a new company for you because you could shine there, because you couldn't fucking shine here. You want me to remind you? Singles action, 2-0 to the motherfucking switchblade, and that 0 is never gonna change. Never. And Adam Cole, congratulations on the Owen Hart Invitational Championship, buddy. Very, very proud of you. We got Forbidden Door coming up, boys.
Whoa!
I know. We have any thoughts on that matter? Let's throw it to Bullet Club. Any thoughts on Forbidden Door, boys?
Is anybody from AEW anywhere near the Switchblades level? Answer yes or no. No. Is anybody in AEW near the good?
See, right now it's Carl Anderson talking, which right away brings us down several notches. Let me try to go back to where Jay White's actually the one doing the talking. Here we go.
See if we can get it where he catches his breath.
Hell, let's throw Kenny in there. Nothing personal against Kenny. But if we go back a little history lesson, I took that IWGP United States Championship from him. And then what did he do? He left. This is why I say I'm the catalyst of professional wrestling, because without me, you don't even get AEW. Everything you've all come to enjoy and love and cherish over the past few years, you don't have without me, because without me beating Kenny Omega, maybe he doesn't run away. Maybe he doesn't run away and take his success and fame with the Young Bucks and create all elite wrestling. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. If he doesn't do that, you get no unscripted violence. You get no shocking return of Bryan Danielson. You get no long-awaited return of CM Punk. You get no heartwarming, long-awaited triumph for Hangman Page. You get no Britt Baker, DMD. They would still be here because they were here before, but you motherfuckers, you were nothing before. That's why you had to run off, because without me, there's also no, hey, maybe no Adam Cole, baby. He'd still be sitting somewhere else, wasting away. So, AEW fans, wrestlers, all of you, you are welcome.
Well, there it is, Jay White.
Well,
any thoughts on that?
Obviously, this is right after the match, apparently, because he's blowed up, right?
Yes.
Okay. At the first part of it, with the fact that he's blowed up and he's got the accent, and I know for my fans across the pond, no, I'm the one with the accent. He's talking normally, but you know what I'm saying? With the accent, he's blowed up and he was yelling already into it. It was a little herky-jerky trying to follow at the start. After you skipped ahead, after Anderson had his piece and he had a little bit more breath to him, the accent is not as bad because he was slowed down. He was trying to go so fast at the start. He slowed down a little bit. He's got great passion and he's got great emotion. I would try, I did the high pitched, what was it, Paul, you say Mickey Mouse on amphetamines, but I was the Weasley manager. If he's the world champion of their organization, I'd try to bring the screeching down just a little bit. You can yell like a Stan Hansen, but you don't have to sound like you're calling the hogs. So bring it down a little bit. He pauses every couple of words and puts a period in it. I assume that may be also because of his cardio condition after just having worked. I like his oomph and I like his passion for it. I don't know if I would be screaming at the top of my lungs while blowed up, and at the same time going up an octave or two, all at the same time. And I guess this is Japan, so they can say fuck and motherfuck, and that was off-putting. It threw me off. And I know somebody now is going to say, Cornette's worried about fuck. No, I'm not worried about the language, but judging a promo, do what you can do on television. And that's what they can do over there, but he can't do it over here. So he might not ought to should get in that habit, because he's either going to get cut a lot on pre-tapes or he's going to get yelled at on a live show one of these days. And, you know, so I think there's plenty of potential and passion there, and it's probably not the best example of his promos because he's just had some kind of long-winded match. But again, here's the thing. When did you ever, in 40-something years, how many promos have you, wrestling promos in a wrestling context involved with a promotion, have you ever seen me do where I cussed?
I'm guessing if you did, maybe in Ring of Honor, but I can't remember for sure.
And I would sneak it in WC, in TBS or on TBS, working for Crockett, with the Paul E promo was when I told my mother that, she was going to get the attorneys to handle it. I said, Mama, you're going to have to get over it because it's about damn time I do something on my own. You could slip in dams and hells and things if you made it good. And in Ring of Honor, even in, with their television, obviously, I may have put in an ass. And as an OVW commentator, I would often call people, well, that no good, miserable prick. But
could you get goddamn it on the air?
In Louisville, I think I slipped it in once or twice. I may have once or twice, and I was the one that did it, so I would take the heat if there was any heat in trying to register my disgust over something really heinous. But in 300 episodes, I may have done once or twice. I don't know that we put the word shit in 300 episodes of Ohio Valley Wrestling Television. I know we never said it in 200 episodes of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. We never said it in the WWF, and we never said it in WCW. But now the girls get the miscellaneous girl crew gets to say it in AEW. So it has no shock value anymore. But anyway, that was my constructive criticism. But yeah, I wouldn't, if I was those guys, I wouldn't get used to the fucks and the motherfuckers in Japan, because it'll come back to bite them later on. And I mean, in the old days on live studio wrestling, you can imagine how many guys in the wrestling business, their favorite word was fuck or motherfucker. But in all, I can only remember scant few times where anybody slipped and said anything in all those thousands and thousands of hours of studio wrestling in various little local stations around the world. And one of them, but Dundee and Gorgeous George Jr. in Memphis were having a program, and George is out there doing a promo with Lance Russell. It's like 1978, I believe it was. And Gorgeous George Jr. says, and that Bill Dundee, he's nothing but a little chicken shit worm. And as soon as he said that, Lance Russell immediately pulled the microphone away and stuck it in his jacket pocket. He was so mortified. And at the same time, because I remember seeing this, I believe I have the audio tape. As a matter of fact, they had bleeped it by the time it came to Louisville.
What year was it? Was this before the split or after the split?
1978.
Okay.
After the split, they were on Channel 5, and it went live in Memphis. You heard the word chicken shit. And at the same time as Lance pulled the microphone and stuck it in his pocket, this was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Gorgeous George Jr. turned from the fucking heel wrestler into Aunt B from Mayberry. As soon as the words came out of his mouth, he realized what he'd said. His eyes got wide, and he put his hand over his mouth and went, and the people in the studio audience started laughing. And then here came Dundee to do whatever he was going to do. But so they got calls. The people picked up their telephone and called the Channel 5 switchboard to complain about Gorgeous George Jr. using the word chicken shit. And they had to have Lance apologize for the language.
Was the house up?
No. I mean, that made no impact at all whatsoever on the angle, or on the, anybody, whether they were going to buy a ticket or not. If you use a curse word, except if it's in already the most major main event angle between two of the guys that are most over and the hottest thing in the company, it's not going to make any difference anyway. Some people will remember the promo, but just one curse word is not going to make a difference. But that was the thing, is that heels could not get away with that at all. And you had to really be careful. Baby faces, the people wouldn't call and complain because he deserves it. I mean, you couldn't. The general manager of the station, if you said fuck, would have shut it down. But if something slipped, the people wouldn't complain about the baby faces. But if the heels said anything out of the way, they'd get calls out there. They got calls on me. Do you remember in 1983, the Russians shot down an airplane?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I was at the point where I was getting very little television time. I was Jimmy Hart's assistant manager, which meant when they were in Louisville, I went to Osceola, Arkansas. When they were in Lexington, Kentucky, I was in Batesville, Mississippi, whatever. And I would go out with Jimmy and the group and just hang around. But when Hart was at ringside during a match, then I might go over and say something to Lance or whatever, so just so they'd remember what my voice sounded like, right? Because I was still trying to get over. So they bring Jerry Novak, the bounty hunter, in. And because Jerry was from, oh, God damn it, somewhere in the world, he wasn't Hungarian, maybe he was Czechoslovakian, or maybe like Nikolai Volkov, he was whatever, he spoke Russian. And so instead of just being the bounty hunter again, they because he's 6'4" and he's 300 pounds and he's fucking huge, and they put a mask on him and made him the Russian invader. And so they're having the match, and the Russian invader's doing whatever, beating up the job guy in the ring, and Jimmy's at ringside, he's cheering him on. And I go over, and this had just made the news about the Russians shooting down the airplane. I said, see there, Lance, he's the Russian invader. If he can't get him in the ring, he'll get him in the air. And so then after the show, Lawler calls me over and said, what did you say? I said, well, when? Whatever you said. I said, oh, he can't get him in the ring, he'll get him in the air. He said, yeah, people complained. We think maybe don't come to TV next week.
Wow.
And then within 2 or 3 weeks, I was on the way to Louisiana anyways. But it just depends. Sometimes you don't even have to cuss. But I've been the cause of more television studio line crossing without ever uttering a curse word or a dirty word than probably anybody in wrestling.